I'm Lonnie Gonzalez. I'm with the United States Army Reserves. I am a chaplain. My rank is captain, but my official title within the ranks is Chappie.
My name's Cassie Leadham. I was born in Lubbock, and then we moved to California, then Mississippi, then North Dakota, and then we moved back here to San Antonio. My dad retired here. When my dad was active military, he was like a bomber pilot for a while. He was deployed a couple times.
I'm Sarah Halverstadt. I live in San Antonio. My dad is in the Army and he is a specialist.
My name's Chasley Fortune. My dad has been deployed 3 times. He did a lot of riding in a decoy truck, which is just in case like they want to bomb someone big. He's in the truck that they would bomb that they thought the people were in.
My name is Matthew Weiss and I'm from San Antonio, Texas.
I'm Colonel Karen Weiss. I'm in the United States Air Force. And right now, I'm actually a nurse by trade. I'm Dean of the Military Education and Training Campus, which is all Army, Navy, and Air Force medical training. My husband and I were married for 9 years before we had Matthew. During the time that I was flying, really can't have a child because you can't be pregnant and fly. So for the first 9 years of my active duty service, Matthew wasn't in part of our family. Moved from Mississippi to North Carolina to Florida, and then Florida to San Antonio.
I live in Houston, Texas. My first call was to Sugar Land, Texas, Fishers of Men in Sugar Land, Texas, and I was doing family ministry and youth ministry there for 3 years, and then I got called to Glory Day Lutheran Church and served there for the last 8 years. My grandfather who was on Omaha Beach D-Day. He was always the kind of the seed of inspiration for me to want to be in the military, but you know, my story is just I kept putting it off, or things were going so well in other areas that I just kind of forgot about it. However, I turned 39 2 years ago, and I knew time was pressing, and I needed to decide if I wanted to fulfill this dream or not to be in the military. In this case, through the chaplaincy. Before I did this was youth ministry, and 2 things I know about youth ministry: you eat and you work with them, and you play with them. And that's how you build relationships. So that's how I do in the military. I'm there when they're eating chow, hanging out with them. I usually share the same sleeping arrangements with them in the tents. So and I work with them. As a chaplain, you basically have two areas of responsibility. One is I'm a staff officer, and so I'm one of the few in the company or in the battalion that has a direct access to the commander. So my first responsibility as a staff officer is to work with my commander and make sure he knows how things are going, the morale with the troops while we're in training and the like. And then my second duty is religious support. So just making sure that the soldiers have the religious support that they need so that we can fulfill our mission together.
It's all I know. It's what I've been doing since I graduated from college. I mean, it's busy, it's go, go, go. The mission comes first, military comes first, so families have to be very flexible. I don't think people realize the tempo, that you're gone, you're home, you're gone, you're home. Whenever I come home, sometimes my husband and son will say, "You don't know, Mom, because you haven't been here." And that hurts, because no, I haven't been there, but I want to be there. And so then, you have to be incorporated back into the family. When
soldiers go, whether it's on a short-term annual train like I just got off of, it's a loss. You lose stuff. You lose time with your family. Sometimes when they're down range, they lose a marriage. They may, like just recently, I had to escort the remains of a soldier from Afghanistan to meet his family here in the United States. We have soldiers, especially in the reserves, most of us are holding 2 jobs, and so, it's a big deal when we have to leave our primary source of income to serve in the reserves, and so that can be really traumatic, again, having to deal with the family back at home while you're away. We're there to support them and encourage them and help them either get the resources they need or to talk through those difficulties that they're dealing with the loss.
When she most recently left, I was really scared. I heard things from like bombings and things. Maybe she was one of the missing. Sometimes I would cry because I was scared that she wouldn't make it back alive. But In all, I knew she had God and I had God, and that we would carry through this.
At his most recent deployment, where he went to Iraq, they would have about 3 or 4 like random bombings. You know, when you have bombings going on, you have processes, you have to like go under lock and key and stuff like that. So there would be some days where we wouldn't hear from him for like 3 days. And I mean, that's when you really start relying on your faith. That's saying, I know God's really active in our lives, so that I hope that he just keeps him safe. I guess it comforts you a little bit more knowing that you have someone to help look over him.
My faith's a really, really important part of my life. But it's ironically, I think during deployments, it heightens it because you don't have your family there, you don't have loved ones there. I pray to him often to give me strength and to walk beside me and to hold me up when you think you can't go anymore. And I think that it's really funny, but sometimes the strong relationships and the strength of your faith during a deployment, you get home and you want it back. You want that again. I was lucky enough, in fact, I told somebody the most important thing, it's always nice to get somewhere and have an LCMS chaplain. And I've been lucky enough on 3 of my 4 deployments to have an LCMS chaplain on the base with me. It's very important.
What I would like people to know is that the chaplaincy is a very unique role within the military. And I just spent 6 weeks with about 40 chaplains. And I got to tell you, there are some strong individuals who who love their country and want to serve in a significant way. I think what's unique about us is that we're the ones that everybody looks to for spiritual support or emotional support out there, and we're able to provide that in a special way. So that's what I would say is so unique about the chaplaincy, and one of the things, the privileges I get to do.
Being in a military family probably influenced my Christian faith, because we would always just pray for my dad if he was deployed. The military is kind of like, it's really, faithful. There's lots of people in the military that they have strong faith, and it's one more thing that just keeps us supportive when our dads or moms are deployed.
You have to have strong faith because you don't always know what's going to happen, and you just have to believe that whatever God does, he does it because he knows that you're strong enough to handle it. He wouldn't put you through something that you're not strong enough to be put through.
I pray more. I rely on God more to keep him safe. There are so many people who have a much more dangerous job than my dad and who end up making sacrifices for that. And there are lots of people who don't know how to cope with that. And if I did come into that community, I wanted to be able to help people with understanding what's going on and telling them that that was just part of a plan. It's not that God forgot them or anything. It's just he needed those people to help make a difference for others.
The very first thing we do is we find a church, because that's how we become part of that community. And every single time we moved, it's been the most important thing. And I think it's what's made every one of our military moves so much easier.
We, in fact, at my church, we have like a bulletin board where part of the family will get deployed. We'll put their picture up to keep in our prayers. When someone will come back in for a deployment for a while, we'll often announce them and welcome them back.
I'm very proud of my mom because she's able to overcome many obstacles, watching other people suffer, and it's really hard to go through that.
It's a blessing that I got from the previous senior pastor at our church that he used, and I asked if I could use it during special occasions, and I do use it when I'm out there with the troops for them, if we're finishing up an operation or a training. May the good Lord go beside you to befriend you, behind you to encourage you, above you to protect you, beneath you to uphold you, and within you to inspire you. God bless you.